They played in Fantastic Four together.
I remember him from Fantastic Four. I did not make the Michael B. Jordan connection, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
damn,
man.
Niggas can't do a good movie.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Cynicism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Amazon Prime original movie, Without Remorse.
This movie is based on a Tom Clancy series of books. It focuses on the character of John Kelly, played by Michael B. Jordan. The plot of the movie is a team of Navy SEALs who sets out to rescue a CIA operative from what they believe to be Syrian forces, I believe, but then they come to find out, I guess he was being held by Russian military. Basically, the movie is about after they bring this operative home, the Russians retaliate for their rescue mission and start taking out some of these Navy SEALs who were responsible for the rescue of this hostage.
Behind the scenes of this whole thing that's going on, there's also somebody kind of pulling the strings, but you don't really get to see that initially. What you see in the beginning is a lot of misinformation. It seems like some espionage. There's some people that look questionable, but you don't quite know what's going on. It's very clear that there's more going on than meets the eye, and people are not exactly telling full truths as to what's happened to some of these Navy SEALs and also what's going on with Russia.
Let's talk about John Kelly, played by Michael B. Jordan, who is a highly skilled, highly trained Navy SEAL. He has a wife, a pregnant wife at home. After coming back from the latest mission, you know, they're chilling. All of a sudden, these people break into their home, and long story short, his pregnant wife ends up getting killed.
I instantly knew she was dead, even without the foreshadowing of his boys getting murked.
As soon as he got home and I saw he had a wife, I knew she was going to die.
And the pregnant wife at that.
Oh, pregnant too?
Right. Yeah, no. I really enjoyed to see Lauren London in this, playing his wife. I wish that we would have got to know her a little bit more in this movie, because she had a few scenes where I thought she was doing pretty good as his wife. It seemed like they had a good chemistry.
This was an interesting role for Michael B. Jordan, I guess. I haven't really seen him quite in this capacity before. I guess the closest thing to this we've seen him play was probably like Eric Killmonger, as far as like the skilled or trained former military type. It was cool to see him in this role. I wish it would have been in a more interesting movie. But
the character actually was more interesting than the movie was. I felt like he had some depth to him. He definitely displayed some emotional depth, especially in the hospital when he woke up, had to hear about his wife and everything. I seen him pitch some of those layers in his emotions that I thought was very kind of gripping, you know what I'm saying, for the movie. I feel like for the way that he was described as kind of this elite fighter, elite soldier, we never quite got to see that. I mean, he did stuff in the movie, but he didn't do anything to me that looked out of the ordinary as some of what these other people were doing to me. They kind of tried to paint him as he was like that dude. I guess that scene at the end where he kind of held it down and, you know, he was on the roof and kind of had to take on that army by himself. That kind of displayed his skill set in a way, especially with him being wounded and whatnot. But it wasn't many examples of that throughout the movie.
If anything, it was a more realistic take on a trained operative like that. Because sometimes in movies like this, they tend to make these people like God level.
I thought he was going to be superhuman type of shit. But
so
I agree with
maybe that's what we accustomed to seeing.
Yeah.
I guess it was just a more grounded approach, which I mean, I can appreciate.
And I think that's actually fair because that is my expectation now. I think that that's kind of the tone that they've set for these people in these movies. Everything he did felt very real. He did feel like a highly skilled person, but you never in any way felt like he was not in danger.
You want to talk about Lieutenant Commander Greer?
Yeah.
Greer is, I'm assuming, his commanding officer and also close friend who he apparently has been working with for several years. They have a pretty close relationship. She is kind of one of the driving forces behind getting him in order to, I guess, avenge the murder of his family. And personality-wise, she seemed like a cool person.
Personality is kind of one of them.
Yeah, it's not a lot of it in this movie.
This isn't that real type of movie.
What else to say about her, man? She was holding him down. That's for damn certain. Just for her to have to go back to him and say, yeah, they closing the file on your wife and your kid, bro. Sorry. It is what it is. It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously, that's not going to fly. So, did you ever suspect her as being like an enemy of his at all?
Never.
Okay.
I never suspected her once. Did you?
Not really.
Yeah, she didn't put out.
I I don't know if these movies are going to try to do some crazy wild twist or not.
I'm going to be honest.
Spice it up.
That would have been a welcome twist. Because the one that came was kind of expected. It was two people that you really suspected.
Of course.
She was not one of them. And that would have actually been a really good plot twist if she was involved. That would have came out of nowhere. How did you feel about her performance?
It was fine.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it wasn't much to the character.
She was just an average supporting character.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot to it. No discredit to the actress, but I don't feel like she was given a lot. Now we got Ritter. What is he? Does he work for the CIA too?
It looked like he do. Yeah. Okay. But he was also out in the field with them. So I was kind of
CIA are do that too.
Okay.
He's kind of made in this movie to look like a suspect, as somebody that could have possibly been behind the murder of Kelly's wife. But, turns out he wasn't. It was kind of like a red herring type deal. He's like one of those type of people in one of these movies where he's like left intentionally ambiguous as to what side he's on. They made it so obvious, I didn't feel like he was the actual person behind it.
I was just about to say, they leaned so heavy into him being a suspect that I knew it wasn't him.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way.
Sketchy.
Correct.
It was too obvious.
Yeah,
he wasn't the main villain.
I mean, from the moment that he started talking, you like, all right, what's up with this dude? Because every movie like this needs one of those, the overly douchey dude. It was like no remorse. In the beginning of the movie, one of their friends died on that mission where they rescued the operative. And the nigga was like, yeah, people die every day, sweetheart. I'm like, dude, that's not something you say ever. You know what I'm saying?
Especially not immediately
Especially right after we left this shit.
Bro, are you a good guy or what?
Right.
Whose side are you really
I thought he was going to throw him out the plane.
Man, I was reading up on this movie, and apparently they've been trying to develop this movie for like a long time.
What the fuck took long to make this? They make this movie every year.
I know.
They should have got Liam Neeson to talk to his people.
I can't remember. It was some big names that were initially attached to the lead role too. I didn't know it was so much to it. I was like, guys, this movie was so basic, but it's so much history with it. It's a Tom Clancy character. Tom Clancy also does the Jack Ryan series too. So I think they had crossovers at some point. I don't know if that's going to be potential for that with this series. It's not a lot.
I'm sorry? What you mean series? They making more of these?
It's books. There are books, so I don't know.
How would you feel about, you mentioned this being a... Man, and we kind of talked about this before, but in recent years, I've become increasingly aware of the criticism of Michael B. Jordan's acting ability because I don't agree with that criticism. So now when I watch him in movies, I try to see what other people are seeing. And I swear to you, man, I just don't see it. I don't see him as a bad actor at all. I just don't agree with that criticism. For me, he always delivers solid performances and he's always in solid movies. That's not a bad actor. Now, maybe you might feel like he don't have range, and I feel like that's what people are trying to say, but it's coming out as a bad actor. Of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but this is another movie where I felt like however you feel about the movie, his performance in this movie was solid. I kept trying to look, and I just was like, nah, I'm feeling that.
I don't know if I've ever seen a stellar performance from him where like it just knocked it out of the park for me. But then when I think about somebody like a Chadwick Boseman, when he becomes somebody else entirely, he's unrecognizable as an actor. When you compare him to somebody like that,
this is the thing, and this is the problem that I run into when I defend Michael B. Jordan, because it sounds like I'm caping for him as a stellar performer, which I'm not doing. Yeah. Yes, he's not a Chadwick Boseman level actor. I mean, I would never argue that, but he's a solid actor. Yeah. I think you can count on him to deliver, and he's usually cast appropriately in these movies. I think if Michael B. Jordan tried to be like Richard Pryor or something in a movie, I don't know if I'm buying that, but this nigga playing action stars, boxers, and
why Richard Pryor?
I don't know. I just tried to think of somebody you would never picture him as.
Yeah, well,
right.
You succeeded. You could have said anybody else. I mean, in Fruitvale Station, he was actually, that was an incredible performance.
That's what I'm saying, man.
So, yeah, he has. I think it's just been a while since I've seen him do a performance that kind of like blew me away. But that was an amazing performance.
Fruitvale Station is that's his movie. That if anybody ever questions his acting ability, I always ask them if they saw Fruitvale Station, because that movie was great.
And he was great in Creed too. So
listen, man,
he showed a lot of range.
Both of those movies, it takes a lot to pull emotion out of somebody from a performance. In Creed and in Fruitvale Station, I was emotionally connected to them points where I was probably on the verge of tears, honestly. And both of those movies, because I thought his performance was that moving. I can't call anybody that has the ability to do that a bad actor.
This ain't really a key moment, but the takeaway for me is just the simplicity of this plot of this movie, man. It just felt so overdone.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that this movie was supposed to come out a long time ago. So maybe since this is based on a book, I don't know if they made many alterations to the the story at all. So that's probably why it feels as dated as it does now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's funny you say dated, because when I watched this movie, I was like, man, this movie has came out 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Even in the action though, like usually if you see a plot that's similar to something you've seen before, they usually try to stray away in some way and be unique in at least action or the way it's shot. I mean, this movie it's nothing special. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it before. You've seen this type of plot before. And honestly, the twist you saw coming a mile away.
But basically, this Secretary of Defense was trying to ignite another Cold War by having these Russian operatives killing American military forces on U.S. soil.
You know what he said, though, for as basic as that plot was, what he said was actually interesting. He was saying that they want to ignite a war because we've been fighting amongst ourselves. He feels like that's attributed to the fact that we don't have any other enemy to fight.
A common enemy.
Right. And so he was trying to do it to bring unity, but I'm like, bro, there are so many other ways that you could have done that.
We've seen this so many times before. And we know that war and everything boosts the economy. We know the benefits of war, but it's still a grim, ugly reality.
This ain't a key moment, but this shit just wow. Bro, the way they killed that one homie, because basically before Michael B. Jordan's family get hit, they killed his other homeboys that was in his squad. One nigga got ran over, bro, on the way dumping his trash. I was like, what type of shit is that? Yeah, that's what everybody else got gunned down. They hit him with a van and just rolled off. Why run him over with a van? It was just so peculiar. To the point where I thought it was unrelated. I thought it was just somebody else that ran that nigga over.
It definitely felt way more amateur than the rest of the assassination.
Right. I would be so mad if I paid for a professional hit and they just ran the nigga down on this block in a Subaru.
I could have did that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I said, make it look like an accident. I thought you were going to put something in his cereal.
The movie was average at best. Action scenes, nothing really stood out for me. I think the underwater scene that he had was kind of cool. I didn't mention that in takeaways. I mean, aside from that, it was a very basic, generic, run-of-the-mill type of movie to me. Based on that, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, this movie is nothing special. I do think the performances were enjoyable. I actually found myself invested in the characters. I just wish that the story was a bit more interesting. Movies like this, I mean, you kind of know what you're getting when you go into movies like this. So I kind of walk into it with a certain expectation. I'm not really expecting anything stellar, but even for the expectations that I had with this movie being something that's not unique, I still feel like it was under the radar. I give it average just because of the performances. So I'm going to give this movie a 5 as well.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to our review of the Amazon original movie Without Remorse. Hope y'all enjoyed that. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews for any movies or series or trailers that you'd like to see us review, don't forget to drop a comment below.
And if you guys have seen Without Remorse, please let us know what you thought. How'd you feel about the plot, the characters? If you're familiar with the books, how would you feel about this becoming a movie series or a TV series? We'd be interested to know that as well. We appreciate y'all, man.
Thank y'all.
Peace.